You may be wondering, why take the sleeper train all the way to the city of Izumi? Well, stick around for Japan 101 and find out.
We're going to show you what to do once the Sunrise Express arrives in Izumo. We'll take you on a tour of Izumo's major shrine. Then we'll hop on board a local train to the nearby city of Matsue. In Matsue, we'll take you on a 2-day culinary and cultural tour of this really fantastic city. So let's hit the streets of Izumo.
If there's a reason to take the Sunrise Express, it's to get to this place. It's a Sunday and it's absolutely mobbed. Come follow me and we're gonna look at it in some detail. So at the beginning, you pass through a torii gate. You go through a beautiful alley of trees and statues and gardens. Then there's a place where people do their ablutions. They wash their hands and their mouths, and then they come to pray. This is one of the most important shrines in all of Japan. Its deity is known as the Lord of the Land, and he is responsible or fosters nation building and human relationships, whether those human relationships are in the home, the office, or in the larger community. But over time, it's come to include marriages and love relationships. The shrine was founded in the early 8th century, so there's always been buildings here. The actual old shrine, the main shrine building that we see today, which is behind me with the finials on top, it dates back to 1774.
And we're about to have a really little rail adventure here. It's an adventure on a local train that will take us basically from Izumo to Matsue, and it'll just be about I think what is about an hour or something like that in total, and it involves a transfer. But anyways, here we are in Izumo right now, and we're in the I'm reading this Dentetsu Izumoshi train station. And that's the headquarters for the Ichibata Electric Railway system. And we're going to be taking what we think is a cute little train that will take us to Kawato, first of all. And then we have to transfer to another one of their trains that will take us the rest of the way to Matsue, essentially. And that station will actually have an onsen in it as well.
I guess the allure of this particular train trip is the fact that it's on a little electric railroad.
Yeah, that's right, it is. And we've actually had a taste of it. We were at the shrine just a few moments ago, and we took the train back here so we could collect our luggage and then proceed on to Matsue. So it was a really neat little train. It had little cabins, actually, didn't it?
It did. They were like snugs.
Yeah, yeah.
In an Irish pub.
Unfortunately, it was really crowded, so we ended up standing for the trip. It was about a 30-minute trip, but it was really quite nice. We don't know what kind of train car we're going to be getting. They have about 3 or 4 varieties, so it could be that one, could be something different. We'll find out when we get aboard.
So the actual system, though, David, you say dates back to 1912?
1912, yeah. It was originally it was a steam locomotives at the time when it started. However, it switched not too long after that to fully electric, and that's the way it's been since then. So yeah, it's got some a little bit of history here to it as well. And there's even been some little movies done about, I think through NHK, about the train itself. So that's kind of neat as well. Mm-hmm. So anyways, we're just sitting here in the lounge waiting to board, and we'll share the experience with you as we get on. Mm-hmm.
Let's give it a whirl.
We'll give it a whirl.
So we are on board and we got a seat this time. So we are in one of those little snugs that we described earlier. Look at this, this is for 4 people. So they've got a drink holder too. This is pretty vintage stuff. KM put in their initials a long time ago.
Thank you for using Ichibata Electric Railway. Dentetsu Izumoshi 方面は2番乗りは松江新宿方面を電車にお乗り換えです。
So we successfully made the transfer at Watari Station. We're still on the Ichibata private railway network. However, the train has changed quite a bit. We no longer have that sort of fun little cabana thing that we had, that we were sitting in. Now it's more like a standard commuter train with seats looking inwards. Big broad area in the center for people to stand. So this is going to take us all the way to Matsue, to the Matsue Onsen Station, and that's where we'll end our little trip. You can take a regular Japan Rail train from Izumo to Matsue. However, you might want to consider taking this private railway, the electric railway, because private railways in Japan are facing an uphill battle. They're facing a lot of economic hardship right now, primarily I think because of the cost of maintaining the infrastructure, which has just increased tremendously. So this is just a little way of supporting the small private railway, and for sure you're going to get a more intimate view of Japan as you pass between the different very small local train stations. Okay, so we've arrived at Matsue. It was a fairly uneventful trip for sure. However, now that we're here, we've stepped out just outside of the station, and there's actually this little miniature onsen. It's actually it's a foot bath actually. So you can see over here, we have places where you can sit and dabble your feet into the water. And maybe I'll just try to bend myself down. I got a heavy load on here. Oh, that's nice and warm. Oh, it'd be beautiful. Oh yeah, that's nice. I think what would the short answer for this little short trip that we took is that there's adventures to be found even in the smallest trains, and it's worthwhile exploring those independent train networks that you have in Japan and probably elsewhere in the world, because they offer some unique experiences. This is certainly one of them. It's certainly worth spending a couple of days in Matsue. There's a lot to offer here. Just north of the Ohashi River is the Kiyomizu shopping district. There's a lot of small shops and restaurants to explore here. Spend at least a few hours here. Definitely worth a visit is the Shimane Art Museum. Completed in 1998, it's the fantastic work of Kyokotake Kiyonori, one of the leading post-war architects in Japan. Beyond its sweeping roofline is Lake Shinji. It has some fantastic views over the lake, and as a matter of fact, it's one of the 100 best sunset viewing spots in all of Japan.
Here we are in a French restaurant called Racine in the Shimane Museum in Matsue in Japan. I mean, this is a 200,000 population city on the northwestern coast, and it's pretty nice.
Gail and I both decided to have their set lunch course, which started with a very nice clam chowder soup. Next came a beautifully plated fish course, which was local whitefish that was served on a galette of soba noodles. That was followed up with our meat course, which was a wagyu beef served with lightly cooked vegetables and a potato pave. Our dessert was an individual matcha cake served with ice cream. Very nicely plated, very delicious. And to finish, a good cup of coffee served in these delightful Mount Fuji-inspired china cups. Incredibly good meal that only cost about $40 Canadian. But of course, the reason you come to the Shimane Art Museum is to see its art collection. And this has a major collection of Katsushika Hokusai artwork. In total, they have about 1,600 pieces in its collection, and you're sure to find a broad range of his work when you come here. Definitely, it's worth at least a couple of hours in the gallery, just exploring the vast range of his work.
This is a bust of Lafcadio Hearn, and we're going to be visiting his home here in Japan. Hearn, who was born in 1850, died in 1904, was born in Greece and was his mother was a Greek woman. His father was a British surgeon with the military. He was raised partly in Ireland and had a career as a journalist in both Cincinnati and in New Orleans before he moved to Japan. He was a very interesting fellow who kind of fought for the underdog. He helped promote the image of New Orleans as a culinary and very interesting, divergent culture to the rest of America. And here in Japan, he did a lot of work as well. He was a translator of Guy de Maupassant's short stories because he spoke 4 languages: Greek, English, French, because he did do a stint in the West Indies, as well as Japanese. He married a Japanese woman and had children here.
If you're feeling a little bit peckish after having visited the Hearn Museum and home, you might want to head over a block away to the Camille Soba restaurant and sit down for a really nice lunch. And I think you can guess what's on the menu, but you can also watch as you're waiting for your table to come up. It's a very small room. You can watch them making the soba noodles through the windows. It's a very interesting display of the craft of making soba noodles. And what's on the menu? Well, it's soba noodles, of course, and you'll find a vast range of soba noodle styles and the way they're sauced, and also the accompaniments that come with the soba noodles. Lots to enjoy here. Also near the Hearn House, and a good stiff walk up a steep hill, is the Meimei-An Tea House, which is over 200 years old. Adjacent to it, and not quite so old, is the Akayama Tea Hall, and here you can sit down for a matcha tea ceremony and partake in some wagashi, which are Japanese sweets. One of the benefits of climbing up to the tea house is you get a splendid panoramic view looking over the town and particularly Matsue Castle, which is going to be our next port of call.
This is Matsue Castle, a national Japanese treasure and an original structure. This is not a reconstruction, all 30 meters high and as well 5 stories high. So it's really quite something. It's an example of watchtower castle construction as opposed to residential castle construction. And it took a few years to build from 1607 to 1611. So our friend, the writer Lafcadio Hearn, rather poetically said of the castle, "From under the black scowl of the loftiest eaves, looking east and south, the whole of the city can be seen at a single glance, as in the vision of a soaring hawk."
We've got time for one more sightseeing treat in Matsue, and that's the Horikawa Sightseeing Boat. Now, this boat boards near the entrance to the castle grounds. It's a 15-minute ride that will take you through the castle moat and the many connected canals that crisscross the town. In some cases, the bridges are so low that the roof of the boat has to be lowered down and everybody has to pretty much lie down while we go under the bridge. So that was a pleasant way to end our 2 days in Matsue.
Sure was a riverboat ride.
That's right, yeah. Matsue is blessed with a whole canal system, partly enhanced because the castle itself is just surrounded by quite a beautiful moat that goes all around it. So, and there's all sorts of other canals as well that link up with that moat.
And the Ohashi River and the huge urban lake here, Shinji.
Yeah.
And, you know, the city also lies on the Sea of Japan. So it's a very watery place. Very beautiful.
That's right. So anyways, we hope you enjoyed our 2 days in Matsue. It's probably not on everybody's radar when they're coming to Japan, but I think that's all the more reason to sort of amplify it and to show you that there's lots of stuff to do here. Certainly, we spent 2 days, but we could, I think, easily have spent another day here for sure. Mm-hmm. And there's other sites that are nearby that we aren't going to be able to touch. So it was, quite a remarkable place. And by the way, right now we're just ending off our our 2 days on the cheap, so to speak. We have a grocery store that's not too far away from our hotel. And as we are wont to do from time to time, is we go into the grocery store and we pick up their delicious either sashimi or sushi. And today we have nigiri, essentially, a huge variety of nigiri. And we're just going to have a nice dinner of that. We've got our beer. I have some sake in the fridge as well.
Sparkling wine.
Yeah, and we have our salads. So we're off to the races. And then tomorrow we're off to a whole nother city.
We certainly are, by train. So
for sure.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Mm-hmm. So I hope you enjoyed this little visit to Matsue. If you did, please love that thumbs up.
And please subscribe if you haven't already.
And comments, always welcome. Have you been to Matsue? We'd love to hear about your adventures and any other places you might have found other than what we saw.
Yes.
So until our next trip.
So long.
Bye-bye.